picture, and I'm half black, half white. And I believe that I'm in a better physical shape. I'm richer than every single one of the quote unquote white males in this call. So I
There it
believe in
is.
eugenics.
I see. You got a chip on
I
your
mean, like,
shoulder. You're
look at your
racist.
look at your knee.
Okay, yeah,
Look at
so
your
they're
little knee.
So what?
You're racist,
frown.
dude.
Is physical.
No, but
Wait
it's
just a
just like
moment.
Lucian, look at your thick little knee.
You're
So I
racist,
believe that
dude.
we need to believe in eugenics, and I think that if there's a fat white person, it doesn't matter if they're white.
Okay, so you're not answering. So let me
That's
repeat
what I
my
believe.
question.
I believe
So you
if
made
there's
the
a white person
accusation.
that's not in physical shape, they need to be exterminated.
What
Got it,
separates
got it.
humans
So-
is that.
So
Wait just a
Bro, you
moment.
have a fucking cigarette in your hand. Like, what the fuck?
Hell
All
yeah.
right,
You're
so
not a healthy
just to
person.
clarify, you made the
That's not feel like
accusation that it's because of white people being racist that there's a lot of immigration. My question is, if there was no racism, do you think that that would exacerbate, or do you think that there would be less immigration if nobody was racist?
There's a clear pipeline. There is a clear pipeline of communities in America that agree with the nuclear family. Their primary language is English. They're Christian, but white people are ridiculous people. They try to be brutalists. They try to be hierarchical. And
You are a
it drives the
racist.
same people that
In
agree
other
with
words,
them
you
away.
are a
He
racist.
is. Yeah, he is very racist. You notice that? Yeah.
So
He's projecting
You
all
keep
of her
talking
racism.
about race, and you keep talking shit about other races. Excuse my language. I couldn't
right,
find
and
it.
I'm sure whatever fucking third world country that you live in is so good that you have a fucking fridge
Yes.
in your bedroom.
What
right?
separates humans is the content.
She's a terrible person,
Okay,
dude.
so,
She's
so
a piece of shit.
one great American of your own
Everything wrong.
country said that.
Right, your country's
So
doing so well that you
speak,
have your fridge in your bedroom,
my young
bro.
lady. Let me
You have
speak.
your fridge in your
Let the third
bedroom.
world
That's your quality of
respond.
life.
So,
Let the third
my
world
young lady,
respond.
whatever you said about me now, it doesn't matter. One great American said that what separates humans is the content of their character. Do you agree with this statement?
It was Benjamin Franklin.
What does this have anything to do with what I just said?
It's completely irrelevant. It was Martin Luther King. He said, what separates humans is the content of the character, not what. And also Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher, said that it doesn't matter how much you own. It doesn't matter even.
I think that a society needs to have the same culture,
Yeah,
but they can be multiracial.
yeah, I agree that a society needs
That's
to
what
be
everyone wants,
homogenic.
actually.
It needs to be homogenic.
I think that a society can be multiracial, like we could have different races, but everyone needs to speak the same language, follow the same religion, dress the same, talk the same, act the same. That's what America should look like.
I will disagree with the same religion. You need to keep the homogeny of a country. That's true. If you import other cultures, which is antithetical with your own, that will create problem. That's true. But you made statements implying that people who are not rich or healthy or are white or anything like that, they are less of people than. Okay, so that statements were wrong. Do you not understand that? They are morally wrong. Because people should be separated by the content of their character. In other words, there might be a poor person, but he might be a good person. And might be a rich person, and he might be a shit person.
Okay, yeah, you're
Wouldn't
just
you agree?
saying what everyone already knows. What is the point of you
Okay,
saying
so
this?
obviously you understand that. Okay. So now that we agreed on that, then we can continue. Okay, so we agree on that.
Okay, yeah, so now that you just had a monologue to prove to everyone that you're a fucking philosopher, we can finally move on from the discussion while you fucking vape at 80 years old. Niggas are still vaping at 80 years old.
I
You're
am
fucking
47.
is really
Okay,
gay.
again you attack.
Bitch, you're a psyop.
a-
Bitch,
aga-
you're a psyop. You're fucking vaping at 90 years old.
I am 47. Okay,
Put
and
that shit
keep
down.
this
That's
attitude, and you
I'm
might
not-
make me
I'm
angry.
I'm really gonna listen to this
Keep
90-year-old
this
that has a
attitude,
fucking
this
USB vape in his mouth,
Okay,
bro.
so if you are if you have a confrontational,
I'm
if you
crying.
my young lady, if you have a confrontational argument, you might achieve to make me angry, and you won't like that. Okay, so I'm 47. I'm not 90 years old, and I'm vaping
This is
because
a
I
hard
like to do
47.
so. Okay, so let's continue.
You continue with what? Because you just, watered down the entire conversation and,
No,
you know
no.
what I mean? Just derailed the entire thing
Okay, so
to go on a 5-minute
no, let's
monologue
continue
about how
in your
you watched
framework.
the civil rights
You are
movement once.
you are a
She's gaslighting
retard.
you, dude.
You are
She's a
white.
gaslighting
You are
bitch, dude.
I'm
poor.
not gaslighting him, but what he just did was just so, like,
Nigga,
what was the
please.
point
Nigga,
of all
please.
that? Like, I'm
Nigga,
sorry, but
please.
you just
You're
stopped. I'm
retarded.
sorry. Never, ever stop one of my rooms for that shit again. That's all I'm going to say.
Nigga.
Because you said a
Ban
whole
me,
This
lot
is
of
nigga.
my room.
Ban
This
me,
is
nigga.
my room. I own this room.
Never stop
Go
my
ahead.
fucking momentum for that
Fuck
shit
your
ever.
Jewish loose harvesting, you dumb
Who,
bitch.
who are
Fuck your loose
you to
harvesting.
not start your momentum? Who are you?
I'm about to order Starbucks. Hold on.
Okay, order Starbucks.
Yes.
Look,
No, but
guys,
I
see
don't
this
understand.
this young
Socrates, shut the
lady.
fuck
Wait,
up.
wait just a moment.
Brother, it's time for first
Look,
world talk, okay?
look. Now the
Okay,
character
Johnny
of
is
this young.
racist and weird,
So,
but like, okay, let's all be civil because I'm about to
so
order my
you
coffee.
thought I am 90 years old. So a 90-year-old guy should stop for the 16-year-old
I
to
get what you're
continue
saying.
speaking.
Okay, come on.
Are these your manners?
Let's,
Are these your
That is
manners?
kind of backwards.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine,
we
let's
should
have
be
a real
letting the
debate.
third
Let's have
world
a real
grandpa
debate.
talk, dude. Go ahead, grandpa.
No, let's have a real debate. Okay, so what's some opinions that you guys have? What do you guys think about transgenders or homosexuality?
No,
and
I
stuff
want to
like
go
that?
back to how white people are superior. This is ridiculous. I don't want to talk about fucking trannies.
Okay, if
Well,
you
if we're going to talk about a superior being, it would be me because I'm half West African and half German. So you know what I mean. That would mean that my
So your
genetics
IQ is 75.
How do you
Right,
look
right,
like that and
right,
be
right.
half
So my
black?
IQ is apparently 75, yet West Africans have different muscle fibers to everyone else, and
Can
it
you
literally
post?
genetically means,
You're
and it means
110
that we
pounds. Muscle fibers, my ass, dude. You're
and it means
literally
that
a fucking string bean.
West Africans genetically grow muscle mass the fastest out
Yeah,
of any
West
other
Africans are
group on the planet,
apparently
and
string
half
beans,
German.
dude.
But if we're really
Post sources for this half West African
all you
shit, dude.
niggas, that's what I'm gonna say. Okay, I'm sorry that you're jealous of me. Okay, and you're probably
No,
some
dude.
peasant white anyway, Plank. You're probably French or
we
something.
must all
You're
agree
probably
that you are
fucking French,
lively, though.
Irish. You're probably some peasant white. You're not fucking
Yeah,
German.
definitely
What is
lively.
wrong with you? So, Plank, what type of white are you?
Ich
You can be
bin
like,
Amerikaner, das ist gut,
okay, what type
danke
of white are
schön,
you?
bitte schön, ja. Jabo.
So we know that you're fucking French.
I'm a Caucasian. I'm
Right,
Caucasian.
So what
and you guys
what
take
language did
a
I just
DNA
speak, Sky?
test
What
or...
language did I just speak? Tell me.
I think
What
that was
language did I
Mandarin.
just speak?
That was
Plank,
Mandarin, right?
So, Plank, you are genetically French. You come from a peasant bloodline. Where people were peasants. You guys never ruled over fucking Europe. You never did anything.
Well, no,
What are you
that's
talking
actually
about?
true, though. So the European immigrants, yeah, I mean, this is true. European people that are of European descent most likely are
Bonjour.
descendants of peasants. Like this is true.
Oui.
But that doesn't mean that their ancestors that moved here didn't become successful, right? There are most, and then also too, billionaire. Here's an interesting statistic: most billionaires are from middle class stock, right? Fucking people that are just fucking they made it on their own.
It's about the
So,
individual. It's not about the race or
The
the.
only reason why I don't want a mulatto ethno state is just because there's not enough of us. You know what I mean? If there was enough mulatto
No wonder
people,
you're
you know,
mentally
that were,
ill.
well, I'm just saying. Listen, if there was enough half
I'd be
German,
mentally ill if
half
I had
West
identity
African
issues
people,
too.
we
Yeah.
would definitely be the superior race. I'm sorry, but we have the
What
best
means
of both
superior
worlds.
race, my young lady? Okay, so I don't understand this. You mean
Socrates, what country are you from?
okay? I am from Greece. The genetics, my young lady, is one thing, which is I agree. You said something which is true. The
Yeah,
people
Greece
that
has fallen, sweetie.
the people
You know that, right?
who are mixed genetics are because it's on biology that they have good DNA. Okay, I agree on that. But there is also the environment, and there's also how much the effort
Okay,
we
yeah,
do.
we know all this. Okay, yeah, this is
Okay.
just
So
you're just saying stuff
what
that
means
everyone knows.
what's the
Everybody-
meaning of superior race? What is the meaning? Individual. It's about the
Okay.
individual.
Okay, so do you realize that people are allowed to talk without you breaking into like semantic epilogues or monologues every single time after?
It's
right?
called
Like, I'm
language,
allowed
lady.
to
It's
have
a
an opinion
conversation,
without.
retard. That's how words work.
I'm just saying, I'm allowed to have an opinion without you being like, what is the meaning of race? What is the meaning of superiority? What is the meaning of an opinion, sweetie? What is the meaning of all these
She
words?
thinks
Like,
she
just
can
let
have
me
an
have
opinion
an
without
opinion.
even justifying what the opinion means. She just wants to have it and tell us all about it.
Okay, well, I just
Wonderful.
told you why it's justified.
My body,
I
my
just told you
choice.
why
It's
being
my
half
body.
West African is good. I just told you why all those things, and you chose to ignore it. Then you chose to re-ask me the same question. I
You
already
said because
justified my
they're
opinion.
muscly, and then he asked you, is muscly what
Muscly, I
connotates
said I
a
definitely said
superior
it
race?
differently than that.
Yeah, but it sounded as stupid. So, is your definition then of what a superior race is just that they're more muscly?
Well, black people are athletically superior to white people. That's just fact.
So
Who wants the
superior race
strongest
holistically just
Pistons in
has
the
to deal
world?
with. So
Who wants the
superior
strongest
race has to deal
Pistons?
with holistically whether or not they're physically stronger than the other.
Well, no, just progressives such as yourself hate objective truths. You hate that one group of people can
We
be
can't figure out
objectively
what
more
the truth is
attractive.
because you can't seem to
You
define it.
hate
The truth will set you free.
You hate that one group of people can be genetically more athletically just predisposed to being athletically more superior. You hate
So
objective
The people
truths.
who
superior
win the
again,
the
we
Listen, there
politicians in the
is
world are
reiterate
not
objective
then.
truths
in
in society.
Scandinavia. It's not Africans. It's
So to
actual
reiterate again,
Scandinavians.
then
No, it's not.
superior
Yes,
race
it is.
just
Look up
means
the world's
No,
athletically
strongest
it's not.
superior. Is
competition.
Black
that what we're
people
Look up
talking
dominate in
world's
about, or
strongest
sports, you fucking
competitions right now.
retard. Bro, you're a fucking retard. Black people dominate in sports. This is very fucking obvious.
Not in all sports.
Like,
wait?
just
So
stop, bro.
I do feel like we're moving past the point though here. So again, so in your definition, superior just means athletically superior, because it sounded like you're doing this like holistic assessment, and
Well,
now
no,
you're just saying
I'm also
athletically.
Well, I'm also half white, and I feel like white people are mentally superior. I feel like they're the best at innovation. Yeah. So what's the problem in that? I can't say that I'm racially superior because I have
So the
half
two
athletic
qualities that
superiority.
define whether or not a race is superior are athletics and thinking.
Yeah.
It's completely subjective.
It seems to be.
Like, I do believe in the concept of she has points, right? She's just not expressing them well. So if you want to have like an evolution baby, if you will, right? You want to line up the best genetics you can. So, to example, if you want to have an athletic child that's going into like football, let's say, right? By her standards, she's 100% right, because you're gonna want to pair with somebody who's able to develop like significant body masses and things of this nature. So it all depends what the opposite end is going to be. So when you're looking at what you want to build genetically, you have to look at your options, and then all right. So for her, she's what did you say again? West African and German.
I'm
right?
half West African, half German.
Okay, so if I may, so for her, if she was going to find a man, she's gonna have to find somebody who's either, because like once you mix, you don't remix, kind of thing. So she's gonna have to find someone from one of the other pools afterwards in order to
Produce.
sorry, someone from those pools, if you will, sorry, take two, in order to like continue the genetic evolution of her offspring from there. So it all depends on what she wants to go for. If it's going to be like let's keep it simple. So like let's say one group has height, the other one has, let's say, more muscle mass, let's say the other group has higher intelligence, like things of this nature, right? That's who she's gonna have to start digging for.
Yes.
That's who she's
Okay.
gonna have to look for if
But
she's
then
gonna
we have
run with it.
examples like Messi, for example. Messi was very genetically. He's very short. When he was young, his mother were giving him what is a hormone because he was very small. He was almost disabled, and now Messi is the best football player in the world. So what I'm trying to say, you cannot define just by genetics. You cannot say whether some person will be successful in certain things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna bring this, I don't see the argument of using synthetics in order to build. I don't like that argument in this particular light. Simply due, so yes, on paper, right? Anyone can breed with whoever they want to and have whatever offspring they want, right?
Yeah.
The idea of the conversation at hand is to have something that's going to come out nearly perfect the first time. To say that one cannot develop more so with additional medicines and technologies is another story altogether. In fact, taking these things are going to change their DNA structure altogether, right? The instant that you start taking hormones. So this could be now the question is because when we play the genetics game we try to keep it simple because every millisecond our DNA code shifts. So when you're taking these synthetics, the question is now like, okay, is your DNA and is your body going to make like hone it in? Is it something that's temporary? What is it, right? Because the adverse effects of this when it comes to the offspring afterwards is they may example if you're taking a testosterone, so they may have hormone problems, right? And they may have supplementary reactions to hormones as well. So in the case of taking testosterone, right? So this elevates his current state testosterone level. It also elevates his current state estrogen level, and it also manipulates his DNA. So any offspring he has may have may have a higher estrogen level than testosterone level because if he already had a higher estrogen level to begin with, plus the synthetics the synthesized testosterone that he's taking on top of it too, this will create problems in the long run. Like people don't actually think about what they put and what they do to their bodies.
The thing I object is judging people like they are horse race, like we made horse. What's the right word? We what's the right word? Breed. Like we breed horses and we say, this horse will be better because of this. If you
This
do,
is nothing new.
yeah, but if you do that to humans, you will. It won't work because the human mind has endless potential, and what separates humans from animals, and we dominated every animal, no matter how powerful it is.
Rules. I saw them in John
We
Wick.
have, for example, we have lions in the zoo right now, although they are very
Yeah.
muscle and
Okay.
they're very, very strong. So in humans we have our mind. And I can give you examples in history that short people, for example, Alexander the Great, if he was short and he had one leg, it was shorter than the other. Okay, and he ruled all the known war.
Not a single person. Hold on, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No worry.
hold on. So nobody is denying that a runt, if you will, is not capable of great things, right? This like I understand what you're getting from when you're pointing out people with defects. Like it's not to say that defective people cannot create good things, right? But if there's 2 points that so one, I highly recommend you read The Republic by Plato because this concept is where everyone gets it from. Okay?
Okay.
The other thing too is understanding we cannot necessarily mix with everything. So in the animal kingdom, for instance, and this is like the best comparison when you're looking at you can make a human comparison too based upon like people's skull types and things too, right? So a grizzly bear can breed with either a polar bear or a black bear, and all of them can interbreed between each other because they come from the same species type. Not a single one of the three can breed with a panda bear. Okay. So even though all humans can breed with all humans to a degree, right? But what we've noticed is some things don't necessarily work, right? And we don't necessarily get what we're looking for. So for instance, say I want to find someone who has genetic compatibility with me for the most part. I'm gonna because I'm I'll just say of European descent because it's a big mix. Anyways, you have you have the options of dating within that particular gene pool, right? Because of some factors, I also have compatibility with those who are native to the Americas and Asians who have round eyes of Japanese descent and particular hair, right? And that goes back to the Onu tribe. And those phenotypical traits and aspects just don't disappear. They become dormant, right? They sleep a couple generations. Some things are heavily dominant, others are not. So this is why knowing your family tree is like very, very important. So it's if possible, right? The idea in my mind would have diversity, right? What we notice, especially when it comes to overly dating within your gene pool, if you will, this is where we have concepts like cancers that start happening more so. So, if you're able to break off from it, that's great. But the biggest thing is finding compatibilities, right? Someone would have already had to breed with those particular persons in the past to start the choo choo train. You don't want to start your own choo choo train. So what she's saying, right? In lieu of like the West African, let's say. So there would be phenotypical compatibility with like a German person or a Germanic person or a Saxon, however you want to look at it in that particular lens, right? The differences are huge, right? Because one has ice and snow, the other one has landscape, but the compensation to environment is what really sets it apart. So when you have a cult, let's reduce it down, right? Just or let's make it bigger. So if you have a culture that was used to fighting elephants their entire existence, then they're going to be like structurally big and by mutation just from fighting out those elephants for hundreds of years differently on the initial, right? So rationale comes afterwards. So there's a lot of things that that are at play here. But yeah, for one to simply kind of like you're right, the GIMP thing is there, but again, the center focus of this conversation would be to like breed the ultimate machine and not just like focus on the runts, if you will. And that's what a lot of society is built upon.
Yes, but Sky made, first of all, Sky made a point that quite it's different from what you are saying, sir. She said that
I don't think so.
When the DNA is different and they mix, that's a good thing. That's why incest is a bad thing. So when you have very similar DNA, then as I know, is a bad thing. But when you mix kind of race, I don't like this mindset, but I will tell you later why I don't like it. But my first point is that you describing like if you some races doesn't mix, and yet it might be that the more different is the DNA, it might produce a better offspring. But my point, if you followed my point, sir, is
it is
that
possible.
yes, is that I don't focus in this mindset, this race kind breeding mindset like we breed horses, because as I said, when it comes to humans, what matters is the mind. So the end goal. Okay, let's say you produce a very good bodily person. He's not better than another person who has a better mind. And we see that all over history. Einstein, for example. Einstein, if you see Einstein, he wasn't any, particularly, but his mind changed the world. So what I will reject is this kind of race thinking when it comes to humans. I don't like this type of mindset. This type of
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so like what separates us from the animals? It's the level of intelligence. Okay, I agree. No, I understand what you were saying, but like this concept of eugenics, right? This concept of selective breeding isn't anything that's new. It's just heavily frowned upon from the predecessors who used it in order to like min-max all stats and almost take over the world, right? Adolf Hitler. But this concept itself is from Greek origin, right? This is before Holocaust. This is before all this. This is back in the time of the Wild West of society of Greece.
Okay.
And even Plato and the people, and think about it too, right? Whatever he wrote down is something that was heavily discussed before it was considered to be spoken with absolute certainty as a thing. So when they're talking about, so in lieu, right? The bronze, silver, and gold structure. So bronze being the laborer, silver being the warrior, and gold being the philosopher king. The reason when you have particular castes set in three, simple as, you normally are going to want to have people who with the same functionality pair with each other in order to keep that particular section strong, right? Laborers with laborers, warriors with warriors, and philosopher kings with philosopher kings in the higher tier of society to a degree, right? That being said, it's not limited to, right? Because if a laborer is starting to show like particular traits, then he might get pulled out and be put into the warrior caste instead. And when a warrior shows higher intelligence and understanding, he may get moved up, right? But lo and behold, you always want to make sure those basins are full. And and that's what they and that's what they said. That's what they determined, and it's true. These are and even for that, remember they had God knows how many centuries of trial and error prior to them to come to that conclusion.
Okay, so let me ask you something, sir. What if you fall in love with a woman that is not your genetic, the optimal genetic pair? Will you choose love or you will choose genetics?
I mean, what is love, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I would much rather find some, like, look, there's two ways of going about it, right? Like I said, in the initial case, it's the breed machine of what you're trying to achieve. On the other case, sure, if you're going to look for companionship, then that's just subjective anyways, and you just find someone you enjoy spending your time with.
Okay, so you will choose the genetic pair instead of
Well, I mean, like, are you asking me? I mean, if you're asking me personally, I would much rather go for the genetic pairing if possible. Absolutely. But lo and behold, like you can't compare selective breeding with companionship. Those are two different things together.
Okay, I will argue that the people that are going more with the because emotional quality is part of the human identity. So I will argue that people who go with the emotions and the kind of passionate type of thinking instead of the kind of computer type of thinking, in my sense, are when it comes, I will not superior in this sense, in the sense of well-being. So if what is the goal of humanity is well-being, but if you investigate,
is it?
Yeah. What is the goal of humanity?
Is it? I don't. How can you say that with absolute certainty? Look, in the baseline, the main line of human is like anything else animal. It's to go, live, eat, reproduce, and continue a cycle. Right? It's everything else that's created from us that creates this like illusionary social structure of what it is to be human or what it is to maintain within a society. But like for one to just course through life is completely subjective and up to them on what they want to achieve in their outcome. So I would not compare that to a genetics thing in the slightest.
Okay, so yes, but okay, that's where we disagree in a sense. You think that humans is kind of just another animal in quote marks, and we need to treat them. Yes, we are animals. I agree with that. But also what defines humans is our mind and our ability for kind of philosophically superior things like I don't know, art, maybe create I don't know, philosophy.
That's all subjective. All of this is subjective.
This convo's been going in a fucking loop. Like,
yeah,
I've been trying to cut it, but he keeps on referring to. This is the problem, right?
what doesn't make sense to me is the argument I was having in the chat. So I said that West African people are literally genetically proven to have different twitch muscle fibers to other races. So that would make them, genetically predisposed to being more athletic than other races of people. It's not going to be any
they definitely build faster. Yeah, they definitely build faster.
It's not going to be like any West African is going to be more athletic than any, any other race. That's not how it's going to work. But I'm just saying that if these people were all, fed the same things on the same level, the West African literally has a different genetic structure than the other races, which is just a fact.
Not all of them, but yeah.
This person literally sent a fucking picture saying that no, that's not true, that black people, speaking that West Africans are genetically predisposed because the world's strongest man is from like is white. And then he proceeded to send a fucking strongest man competition, and the person that he like was trying to counter argument what I said to is like a non-natural white guy. Like he's like roided up. Does that make sense? Like
No, it doesn't. Like this actually ties into what we're talking about. What I'm trying to like focus on too, right?
Yeah, but how does this? Yeah, but do you get what I'm trying to say right now?
I understand.
How are you comparing natural genes, natural difference in twitch fiber to a white guy winning the world's strongest man competition where he's on roids? He's literally all his muscles are basically synthetic. Like, so how is that even comparable? Like,
if I
Because
may, let me explain where is
thinking.
the
No, he's
discrepancy.
thinking in the now. That's the problem. He's thinking in the now and what the body can do in the now, and that it shouldn't be comparable when it comes to finding a partner. Whereas you and I, on the other hand, are talking about making like something that's completely superior off of the bat and can develop and build on
Yeah,
its
like
own.
naturally, yes, naturally, not fucking steroids. Like someone that is naturally
But
Yes,
athletic,
guys,
that was his
predisposed.
the
messy. That was his messy
That's
thing. So like, the reason why I was going in through a loophole the entire time is because he doesn't want to get off the premise that you can just create something synthetically and it'll be just as good as an original.
no, okay, so
yeah.
okay, so the problem with your logic factually is that statistically. So if you take statistically, yes, the black people are more athletic, but that only serves as a statistical fact. And yet many, okay, so if you see a race in the Olympics, there are five black and six white. Okay, these six white individuals are faster than hundreds of million black. What I'm trying to say is that although your argument works with statistics, again, it doesn't exclude the individual white person might be more athletic than a black person. Not only that, there are certain sports, like for example UFC, that there are white people that are less athletic, and yet they beat the shit out of more athletic people. So
But that doesn't mean if you had two people that are like both athletically the same, they're trying to say that one of them would be naturally better than the other because of their genetics. That's what they're trying to say. They're not trying to say that it's incapable of someone.
yes, okay,
Like,
okay. So, but if we define correctly what we are saying, okay. So what you are saying essentially is statistically, white black people are more athletic. Okay, we all agree in this statement. What this statement implies? What is the point of this statement? That black people are better? No, are people with
Okay, so
better.
what the fuck? Okay, so yeah, you're just having a semantic argument. This argument's gonna go nowhere. Black people are genetically, West Africans, specifically black people, are genetically predisposed to having different muscle fibers than anyone else, which means that they can grow muscle mass faster than any other race. So if you took an African person that had those genetics and compared it to a white person that didn't have those genetics, and you put them in the same types of conditions, the West African person would excel.
Note her statement because it will become relevant later on. She said that if you put a black person with superior genetics against a white person with worse genetics in the same circumstance, the black person will always excel. No, that's not true. Because that doesn't address the mind, first of all. And second, it doesn't address the exact circumstance. But let's say when she says in the same conditions, she meant in every minute detail. Okay, so like, which cannot happen. Okay, so let's say we put two individuals in a jungle. When she said in the same conditions, let's assume she meant every minute detail. That never happens. But let's say that's what she meant. Still, the mind is what makes the difference. Okay, and also with the mind includes luck, because our mind, guys, our mind is a sea of things that can affect my mind. So, for example, the environment. Because let me explain how the environment plays a role. Okay, let's say this black person, when he was young, he was abused by a person who was wearing a red shirt. And as he was running to do the task, he saw suddenly red. And that affected his emotional state. And he lost to the white person that didn't have this experience. So there are two factors that play other than genetics. Obviously the mind and also the environment. Okay?
where the
No,
white person would
no.
not excel.
It's
Yes,
a wrong
yes,
statement.
yes. Okay,
Let me explain why it's a wrong statement. I already explained why this is a wrong statement.
Okay, so right, and I already disproved what you're saying with facts and statistics. You're
No.
not actually disproving anything that you're saying with facts and
Okay.
statistics. You're just saying
You
it.
shift.
So that's why this conversation is going nowhere. Okay, so can you provide proof that another race is genetically predisposed to be better than black people in muscle fibers? No, you can't. Do it
Okay,
right now.
let me answer that. Okay, you started by saying what we all agree, that black people are genetically better in more athletic, and then you said therefore a black person is better in athletic than a white person,
You're
which is a
strawmanning my
wrong
point.
statement.
You just completely strawman my point. I never said that every black person, because black people have different muscle fibers, you're strawmanning me. I never said that. I said that because this is a known fact, someone who has those specific muscle fibers will out excel their other race counterpart. No one is saying,
Counterpart.
are you retarded? How many times does someone have to
You
explain
just
to
said
you
that you didn't do
they're
that,
not
and then you
saying,
say you did that. So, guys, he
goodbye,
said I
goodbye,
never did
goodbye,
that,
sweetie,
and then you
goodbye,
did that.
goodbye, goodbye, goodbye,
Okay.
goodbye, goodbye. Holy fuck.
So, as my video self, I guess all is video, but as my debate self says, you can give genetic points when it comes to statistics. Okay, black people are better in running in general, but when you say a black person will always excel a white person in the same circumstance, no, that's wrong. Okay, and this is what you said.
This is why we need to take away people's freedom of speech sometimes. Because bitches think that everything, they can play devil's advocate on everything.
Idiot.
Like, you can't play devil's advocate on facts. You can't back up your point with facts or statistics. I have, multiple times.
You're typing like he can't hear you.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's just getting a little bit ridiculous. Like he's been in a consistent straw man for the past 40 minutes. This is why I don't debate with people whose first language isn't English. Because
Boom, is that Keir Starmer as your profile picture?
I think
Sorry.
it's just.
I don't know if he's just confused
Yeah,
or...
Yes, Sama is my profile picture, correct?
I think it's just A, there's a language gap, and B, I think the way you're wording it is.
He should be able to understand it the way that I'm wording it. I'm not stooping down to baby words and fucking changing everything that I'm talking, because someone else is in this call and they explained it to him in a more complex way and he still didn't understand. So this person just is unable to grasp concepts that this person is unable to grasp objective concepts.
I don't think it is. I think he's just arguing against the idea that genetics is destiny. Socrates, shake your head up and down if you're agreeing with me on that statement that, okay.
But what are you talking about?
He's not. I think that no. I understood exactly what he was saying. He wasn't paying stupid. He was just arguing with you that just because you're genetically predisposed to something does not mean that it is your destiny to do so.
Yeah.
Right, and I never. Okay, so I'm just gonna mute you for being retarded too.
Why
Nobody
no?
ever said that. You're strawmanning me. You're fucking strawmanning the fuck out of me. Nobody fucking said that. Literally, nobody said that. I have not once said any black person that has muscle twitch fibers is automatically going to be more athletically superior to any white person. I'm saying if they had the exact same conditions due to this person's genetics. This is literally like this is just.
What you mean with the exact same conditions? Okay, let's take the extreme of what you meant. Let's put your most favorable case. Let's say when you say with exact same conditions, you don't mean two people just thrown in the jungle, which is a total failure. Because the environment plays a role, definitely. One person might meet a tiger, the other person might not meet anything. Okay, let's say the best case scenario, you meant the same exact everything, the same exact everything. That never happens. Let's say you meant that. Okay, still, the environment plays a role in the sense I explained. Let's say this person, when he was young, although he had genetics, he was never educated. So what you will do with the genetics if he's uneducated? Let's say the other person, he studied how to survive in a jungle. Who will excel now? This person. So the environment is more than the same conditions. If you said he had the same life conditions from the moment he was born, the same exact conditions from the moment he was born, still is the mind that plays a role. Okay, the mind is not genetics. Okay, so the black person has perfect genetics. Okay, the white person might have a better mind, might be hyper intelligent and might have emotional quality. For example, the white person might see a tiger, and because he's a good person, instead of running to the tiger immediately, I don't know, he did something with his emotional quality, and that made something. Okay, so your statement doesn't include all this stuff. So the other person explained that perfectly, as much better than I am doing right now. He said, just because you have the genetic predisposition, that doesn't mean necessarily that your fate will be better. Okay.
Because you're not strong, you're straw manning. That's what you're doing. You're literally creating a fake point that you're creating something I never said.
She never once said that, for instance, someone that she's saying if they're both athletically in the same degree, I don't know how to explain it. If they're both athletically the same, that person, because of genetics, is going to be stronger. That's what she's trying to say. She's not trying to say everyone with these genetics.
Holy fuck, these people are low as fuck IQ. Get the fuck out of my call, all of you. Hold on, let me just ban all these fucking... I'm sorry, but this is so ridiculous. We've been in a consistent, we've been strawmanning over and over again for 40 minutes straight because you guys can't grasp a simple fucking concept. Nobody said that just because someone has West African muscle fibers, that they are automatically going to be a faster runner than every single white person. This person would need to put in more or the same amount of work as this white person that they are competing against. We're taking two people with the same athletic build. Okay? Two people that put the same amount in training. Two people that have the same diet. The one with the different muscle fibers will win. In those same conditions,
this is not
the
true.
one with different muscle fibers will
Even
win. Absolutely.
It's not true.
It's not about being incapable of listening.
Well, that is... That's
true.
I think it really... I think it really depends off when you start. Are you talking
about... Right. So let me just orchestrate how retarded you look. Okay, so if there was two different people and one was completely had black genetics versus a pale white person, who do you think is genetically predisposed to handle the climate of Africa better? By your logic, Socrates Son, the white person with pale skin would somehow handle the hot African sun and the hot African heat on their fucking scalp with their blue eyes that aren't made for the sun, on their pale skin that's not made for the sun, and on their straight hair that's not made for the sun. Objectively, that black person would do better in a warmer climate with hot African conditions. But you are saying that the white person would. When that's just not a fact. Their body is not genetically predisposed to deal with this climate. Why are you sick? Why does an objective fact make you sick to your stomach? It makes you sick to your fucking stomach. And do you want to know why it makes you sick to your stomach? Because your name is Socrates' son, and philosophers don't like to live in a capitalistic society that has objective truths because they don't honor what the fuck you are. A capitalistic society with objective truths does not reward people that try to ponder and reject every single objective truth. They reward merit. They reward like actual accomplishments. So you're just sitting here basically just talking. Like it's like kind of just sitting here talking, bitch. You're literally just sitting here talking. They need to take the fucking mics away from bitches. You're just sitting here fucking talking.
You are talking.
Like, holy fuck. So, okay, right. So let me just make you look stupid for the third time. So, black African male, pale Scottish male. So Socrates is so retarded, okay, that he genuinely believes. Socrates is so fucking retarded that he believes that if this person and this person were both living in fucking the fucking Ugandan heat, that the person on the right's body would handle living in Uganda better than the person on the left. Because Socrates is immune to objective truths and he's a retard. So the fact that you genuinely believe that, you are retarded and we need to start cutting bitches' mics. Because you're just fucking talking, bitch. You're just talking. Okay? Okay, let me ask ChatGPT really quick. And you want to know what ChatGPT is going to do? Yes. Agree with me, bitch. Okay, so let me just hold you to that real quick. Since you're a fucking retard who's just fucking talking, bitch. But I hate bitches that just fucking talk, just to fucking talk.
You are talking.
Holy fuck. Bitches are just fucking talking. So anyways, let me ask.
Okay.
You didn't mean to.
Okay.
So let me just prove you wrong again. So let me just prove you wrong again. I just asked ChatGPT.
Yes.
Yeah, let me ask ChatGPT.
I mean, he just said in the chat to ask ChatGPT,
yes.
and it's going to prove me wrong. But ChatGPT just proved my ass right. So let me just send it. Since me saying it wasn't enough, I had to ask ChatGPT to confirm my point because this old retarded guy. So again, ChatGPT says that the left, darker skin provides substantially more protection against intense UV radiation because of higher melanin levels. Okay. Right. So even though these are two random people from 2026, the person on the left could handle Africa's climate better than the person on the right. Okay? That's a fact. Because he has more melanin. This is science. Okay? So it works the same with the Twitch muscle fibers with the West Africans. This works the same way. Yeah. Are you slow? This is a comparison. I do remember. Okay, so let me just mute you because I'm sorry, but this is why people from your country need to be hung. Like, this is just so ridiculous. Like, you have such a fucking low IQ. Like, I could just never. Bro, holy fuck. This is an example. This is an example. This is an example of the exact same valuables for my other claim because you're denying the other claim. You just agreed. You basically just agreed with my claim, you fucking retard. You just agreed with my claim, retard. Socrates, you just agreed with my claim, you fucking retard. You just agreed with me, bitch. You just asked ChatGPT to agree with me, you stupid bitch. Holy fuck.
So, Sky, your point.
Okay, guys, I will completely humiliate this young girl and teach her a lesson. Okay. She thought that this naive, okay, this naive young girl doesn't have manners. She's a racist and doesn't have a moral character.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so doesn't have a moral character. She she thought that she can win Socrates Son, but the problem what she was doing is that she doesn't focus on what she's saying. She's thinking other things and saying other things, and yet I focus on her precise words. Okay, she never said a guy with melanin has a potential to handle Africa better in a blackboard. This I agree, obviously, but she said always. She said always a black person will handle Africa better than a white person. That's simply a wrong statement.